Hey everybody, welcome to this week's of our Coach Chat episode. We took a poll on our page about what topics we wanted to talk about. And now we're going to get to all of the topics that I did list, but I think hands down this particular topic was the one that everybody wanted to know because the way I labeled it. I said...
Yes. You tricked him a little bit.
I did. I tricked you. I said you might have to gain weight in order to lose weight if you are a chronic dieter. Now, that's not a lie, but it may not be the same. It may not be the case for everyone. So what we're really going to dive into, and here Coach Meredith is here because she actually has a really good story and experience with what I'm talking about. We're going to obviously be talking about metabolism because that's essentially what the root of this is. A lot of people struggle with that frequently lose weight, gain weight, yo-yo back and forth. And each time you lose weight, you probably do something extreme to do it. And then once you get back into what you naturally would fall into, like your natural eating habits, or, not going as strict as you were before, you end up putting on a little bit more weight each time.
Yes. And when you do that in an extreme, it's really easy to lose muscle. It only takes 700 calories to lose a pound of muscle deficit, but 3,500 to lose a pound of fat. I looked that up.
That sucks.
And so muscles are really hard to gain. And so when you're losing weight at the extremes, you're not just losing fat. Like you're losing weight, which is muscle. And if it's easier to lose, then you're losing muscle. And so when you put it back on, you're not gaining muscle back. You're just gaining the fat back. So you end up in a worse state than you even were when you started.
And it's a vicious cycle because so many people just don't understand what metabolism is, I think. It's not this one singular thing. I think everybody, when they talk about a metabolism, they'll say, I have a slow metabolism, or they have a fast metabolism, and they relate it to weight gain or weight loss. That's the only reason it exists, is to control your weight. And that is so far from what it actually does. It's actually, you could think of it as your metabolism is a monitoring system for your life, for
your body.
You are your metabolism. So it's so many processes that the metabolism is made up of. So you have to look at it as a whole unit rather than pinpointing certain jobs that it does. And I don't think people understand all the different jobs that it does. And it's essentially, it is to keep you alive.
Yeah, and it's your body's always trying to reach homeostasis. It's always trying to level things out. So I think a lot of times symptoms and even things with hormones is we try to fix one thing, but we don't realize, and even connected. From reading or even healthcare providers, that it's all one big thing. And if you start supplementing with a bunch of this, could possibly mess this up over here. Yeah. So
and that's why with Clean Kitchen, we obviously focus on habits, but your habits are so much more. Those all affect your metabolism and the way that you thrive, the way that your body essentially uses its energy. So your metabolism is affected by stress, and what you put in your body, what you do to your body, how you sleep, how you recover. Hormones are affected by, it's all a little domino effect, that everything's connected. So you can't work on one thing without working on the other.
But it all goes back to food. You're really a super duper fancy, the most tricked out car ever. And you have to put good stuff in it to fuel all the processes.
Yeah. So that's why we're saying you have to look at the metabolism not as something that is singular and static, and it doesn't it doesn't slow down or speed up just because of your genetics or, like some kind of, it does slow down and speed up, but it varies depending on what you're doing in your life. So it, like Meredith said, it's always trying to keep you at an even keel. So if you are, for example, under eating, that's a stress. Like that's, and if you chronically undereat, so you are essentially telling your body that it's not going to get enough energy to do certain processes. So when it slows down, you're basically you're slowing down. You're getting it back down to it's only going to do the necessary processes like organ function and breathing and brain activity. That's called your basal metabolic rate, like the energy required for you to live. Like, and for most people, that's, it can range, and it depends on where they're at, like metabolism wise, into the 2000s, of calories. And so when you take in that your calories or energy that is required for you to just be here breathing is that amount, and you chronically eat like 1,000 calories a day, like there's nothing left to build upon.
And I've had clients talk about they were losing hair, and a lot of times we relate that to like hormones or something going on, but hair growth and holding on to hair is body sees as non-essential. So like if you're eating 1,000 calories and your hair is falling out, like it's probably because you're not eating enough food, not because like there's something wrong with something else. Like it all falls back to food, and really why we should look at food first.
Right. Yes. And that's one of the easiest things to fix, that people they get that, and that's what I'm saying, they keep getting it mixed up with metabolism, as is like, oh, to speed up my metabolism I just gotta like eat less, or to lose weight I gotta eat less. Oh, but I have a slow metabolism. But it's because you're eating less that you have a technically slow metabolism. Now, it's not broken, it's just adapting to what you're doing to it. So when I said about you may have to gain weight in order to lose weight, I really mean where there's a period of time where your body, if you decide that you are going, okay, I'm going to fix myself, and we can talk about that with you. I'm going to fix myself. Well, I have to understand what my body needs currently. And it's probably more calories than what you're eating right now. And so there will be a time period where you kind of have to slowly like up your calorie intake. And for some people, that's a scary thing to do. And they may feel like they're gaining weight or actually like gain weight.
Oh yeah, I came from like a low carb, like I strive to do that, like 30 to 50 grams of carbs. So the thought of somebody telling me that I needed to eat 200 or 250 grams of carbs whenever I thought it was a badge of honor to just eat like one piece of fruit a day. There was a time that I thought like that, and I was going to get fat from a banana. And
I think
when you measure out stuff like that in fruits, I did it last night on my food scale. I had a big container of strawberries from Sam's, and one of Jackson's Snicker bars was sitting there. And so I looked at the calories. I was like, well, how many strawberries would it take? It was the whole entire box.
Yeah.
The whole entire Sam's box. It's like 300 grams of strawberries. Like you couldn't eat that to equal this small. Snicker bars have gotten smaller too, I think. It's only like this big.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, so when we say like you have to eat more, we want you to eat more of the good stuff, but then it's also really hard to overeat in whole foods, so like you have to eat like a good volume of it. And when you're talking about carbs, like we were talking just the other day, like I have to get starch starchy carbs to get in enough, because
Yes.
even if I'm not paying attention to what I'm eating, I can undereat very
Yes.
easily. I think it's just naturally, especially for women, like we don't eat these massive meals. That's one of the reasons why eating throughout the day, like in smaller meals, is as a coach, usually works out better for women because we don't like to eat massive meals. Intermittent fasting is a whole nother video that we'll talk about, so we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But that's one of the ways to make sure that you're getting in enough nutrients so you're not under eating.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've fasted and done that too, and
Yeah.
if it's really hard to eat 100 or 150 grams of protein in 2 sittings.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's why you really need to break them down throughout the day. I don't like just 3 meals. It's too much.
Right. Yeah. Too much
Volume.
Yeah. But to each his own, But the end all be all is, are you eating enough to sustain what you're doing? So going back to metabolism and the speed in which, or the amount of energy that you use each day, it depends on so many other factors of what's going on, and it can change from like day to day, week to week, depending on like stress, recovery, sleep.
And
Sleep
just
is
like
huge.
what do they call it? The TDEE, just the movement that you do
NEAT.
in the day. Yeah, your NEAT. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like I forgot what it.
Just
I can't remember what it stands for, but anyways, it's like walking, fidgeting.
Taking the stairs, parking,
Yeah.
parking in the parking lot, just all the small steps that you get in a day. And if you wear a tracker,
Yeah, that's why the getting steps per day, like the goal, is such a good, I guess, measure of how much your NEAT is, because that's a huge deciding factor on metabolism and energy expenditure. Because if you're sitting around at a desk all day, you're not really moving all that much, So that's one factor, is just your normal everyday activity. But then another big factor in what your metabolism takes, how it burns energy, is your lean muscle mass. So again, we're kind of circling back to food. You cannot build lean mass without eating.
yes,
Like it's not happening. You're taking away from your body by under eating. So I did a post a while back. I called it Metabolism 101, because there's a fine line between like eating. If you're in that of like, I want to get lean and build muscle, there is a fine line between eating too less, like not enough, and then, also exercise and making sure you eat enough to recover, but not put on like, fat gain. Which, I mean, I would almost say I'd rather just work out more, eat more. And then, let it all kind of
really,
even
that's the
itself
ultimate
out.
goal.
But that takes longer.
Yeah, really, that would be the ultimate goal, is to be able to eat more, because from my chronic dieting, I'd gotten to where if I wasn't eating 1,200 calories, maybe 1,500 calories, I was gaining weight. And I was really upset, and I really wanted to blame it on Hashimoto's, and that probably played into it, but it was really the things that I was doing to myself, of really exercising hard for like the past 10 years and not eating enough. And your body can only take it for like so long.
Yeah.
But
so what did you do to start on your journey to
I just started eating more, and for a while I ate a lot more.
So tell them what you, because it's like, it's like a mind trip of anybody that is made this decision to be like, okay, I'm about to fix whatever's happening to me. So you start with your calories in that you were normally taking in, and then when you decided to switch it up.
I started to switch it up without a plan. I was at 1,200, probably 1,500, and I couldn't understand why I was losing weight. By my DEXA scans, I was even when I was getting thinner, I was losing muscle but gaining fat. But my body fat was going down. So I was like, well, I guess that's good, but I was losing muscle and I didn't want to. But so that was 100% from not eating enough. And then I just been in a weird way, and I follow different people, and there's this pro-metabolic community that talks about like eating ice cream and drinking orange juice, and I kind of went about it the wrong way. I should have like slowly introduced myself into like some of these new things, but I just kind of said, I'm tired of following autoimmune protocol. I'm tired of like cutting things out. I'm just not going to care. And I still followed my habits. But I was just eating more of things that I had not given my body in forever.
Because of your Hashimoto's.
Yes. And so I'd not had dairy. I haven't drank juice in years. I was just, and then so I started adding in all these things. And I wouldn't even say crazily, but my body really, I felt really good in the gym, but my body was not responding the way that I wanted it to. And maybe it was healing and maybe I needed to gain weight, but I quickly gained about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And so then I was very discouraged about that. So,
well, there's one thing that, like, and I've read this, now, like I said, it doesn't happen to everyone, but when people do that, you know, it's because your body is in this state of a slow energy burning. And you essentially have to tell your body it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna
starve you anymore.
And it has to reach homeostasis, eating that amount of calories, you know, unless you're going like excessive. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you had to figure out the calories that your body needed to be at homeostasis.
And when I started, I was losing weight. After I got everything kind of leveled out, I was lost weight at 2,400 calories a day. I lost like 7 pounds eating that much.
Yeah, once your body kind of leveled out and it was like, okay, I'm not in freak out mode. I mean, 2,400 calories now, and then you changed up your training too.
Yes. I love Versus and I love the Versus community, but everything is a stress, and at that time I needed to take some extra stress off, so I switched to just lifting weights and walking, and I've had some really good results. Not that I don't want to come back, and I still do jump in and do WODs, and it was just kind of a lot for me during that time.
Okay, and let's go back to that. So your metabolism is affected by stress, and it doesn't matter what stress. Like, it could be emotional stress, like, you know, your family life is stressful, job is stressful, you're talking to yourself in your head, what your thoughts are about yourself is stress, but physical stress too. Your body doesn't know the difference. It's just stress. And so it'll be affected by that. You were in kind of a perfect storm situation where you had physical stress in your workouts, doing, you know, high intensity interval stuff or too much.
And I was marathon running at the beginning of all of this. So marathon training, going to Versus, starving, like it does a lot of things.
There was a lot of things. And so
hopefully other people are just doing a few of those things.
Naturally, a lot of people, when they're like, oh, I want to lose weight, I need to burn max amount of energies. And so max amount of energy each day, and they undereat, well, they start working out like maniacs and doing all the things. Like, I'm not saying that you can't build to a level of doing a lot of volume of certain type of training, but you have to eat for it.
You have to support it.
You have to support that activity. You are not this machine that is like exempt from the laws of, like,
well, I mean, even
physics
machines,
and biology.
like you have to have gas or electricity or power source. They don't run on nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing runs on nothing.
You had that perfect storm of, like, you're trying to, number one, you know, reduce the stress of what under eating did to your body. And then you've got exercise, that is another stressor. And so you have to scale it back so your body can regain a even keel, you know.
Yes.
And then once it's there, once you're at a maintenance type of where the amount of food that you need to eat to maintain weight,
Yes.
then you can start introducing another stressor, but have that fine line between just enough to create change, because it has to be a good stress, like weightlifting, interval work, interval training, cardio, whatever. It has to be something that does stress your body to create change, but then you also have to recover from it with the food and the rest that you get.
And that's why I think the Clean Kitchen habit of sleep is amazing. I neglected that for like such a long time. Like,
it's such a game changer.
You can sleep. I remember thinking, well, I can sleep when I'm dead. Like I can, I need to get all the things done. And, I can get up at 4 a.m. and it's just sleeping more and through Clean Kitchen and that habit has really helped me a lot.
And so what you did is, you took a break from the intensity of what you're doing. You kind of got your body back on like even keel, and then you started.
Now I've cut back from maintenance calories, which would have been about 2,400 to 1,800, which I feel really hungry. Never thought I would say that. I used to be like, oh, that is too much food. Yeah. But now I'm like, oh, I'm really hungry on this. Yeah. But I'm trying to lose a little bit slowly and not go too extreme and coupled with get back to where I was. But I will say, since I've put on a lot of more muscle from July to December, I'd put on 2.5 pounds of muscle, and I haven't had another DEXA since then. But I feel like it was probably at least another 2 pounds. So I feel like I've put on 5 pounds of muscle, but I've only lost like 7 pounds in this whole time. So, but I look the same as I did when I was a weight that I wouldn't have wanted to be. You just couldn't have guessed what my weight was. Like, my husband thought that I'd lost 15 or 20 pounds, and I've really lost like 2. So like when you're recomposing, recompositioning your body, you really can't go by weight. Like weight alone. Like the scale is really tricky. I always say you need to go to the person at the fair or the circus that guesses your weight, because they would get you wrong every time.
Yeah, no, I did that on the Clean Kitchen page. I think it was last summer. I did a poll of like guess my weight, and everyone got it wrong. They thought I was like 125, 130, and I'm actually right now, I literally just weighed myself, I'm 144, like as of yesterday. And so that stuff is just a number. Instead of focusing on those numbers, which I get it, like everybody has been trained to want to weigh less. I say, like, you want to have an able, capable body that feels good. You know, like, so, and how you get that is you feed it properly and you train it up. So you're building lean mass, where going back to your basal metabolic rate, you're burning more energy just existing.
Living, just breathing.
Yes, just existing. Your NEAT goes up, your everything goes up. So the goal, and I say this,
is to lose weight while you sleep. That's why the sleep habit is important. Like, because that's how you lose the weight. Like when you're breathing, and so like you're resting, recovering, you're losing weight.
While I'm watching TV,
the more muscle you have, the more weight, calories, whatever you burn just at rest.
And I think I saw this somewhere. It takes something like 3 months to build muscle, like in any, like depending on what your intensity of your training is or whatever. So you're not going to necessarily see built muscle like instantly. It's one of those long processes that you have to commit to and understand that this is what people do to help build their bodies up, and there's no other way around it. Eat better, eat enough, and then build your body.
Yeah, if you look at somebody, or when I look at people now who have muscles, especially females or ladies in their 40s that I want to look like now that I'm in my 40s, not a 20-year-old that hasn't really lived life and you're just blessed with genetics.
Yeah, let's not look at all those little 20-somethings bebopping on
look
Instagram.
At somebody who has muscle on their body.
Like
they have worked to get that. They have worked for
years,
5 or more years for that physique, and I've given myself the grace of like, this is not, I mean, it's never going to be ended really for me.
It's not. It's a continuous thing. Like, and we talk about, you know, in Clean Kitchen, we say you have to become the person that has earned this body, you know, or whatever it is. Like, you become the habits, you become the process. And because the process never ends. It's like you become that person that wants to exercise. You become the person that wants to eat enough so you don't feel like crap.
Yeah.
And that's the game changer, when you can switch your mind from this thought process of, I've got to suffer and I need to work out like a maniac and eat a celery stick, you know, every once a day or whatever. I don't know. Like when you get out of that mindset of like, okay, this is the lifestyle, or this is the health I want to have, and these are the steps that have to happen. It's not crazy steps. It's just consistent steps. Like, for the rest of your life, you know?
We talked about that, about going to the gym. We didn't want to be there yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was feeling weak and my knee was hurting.
I had a stomach ache. I was not.
But I went there and I did some things. I didn't do all the things, but I did a good bit of things, and I'm just that person who goes and does that even when they don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, not sick. I mean, I would have stayed home if I was sick, but it was just kind of blah yesterday.
I mean, it's kind of like we talk about habits and patterns and, you know, certain rituals of your day. Like I mentioned to you yesterday that the other week I kept forgetting that I wasn't supposed to work out on Friday because I had to do the IAV tester on Saturday. And I'm just like going about my routine, and I'm like, okay, Bishop, get in the car. And I'm like grabbing my water bottle, like ready to go to the gym. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I can't, you know, so it was like, it wasn't, I'm not saying that to say that, oh, I'm this awesome like exerciser or whatever. It's just, I'm saying that it's an ingrained decision that I just do. And if I don't do it, I feel weird.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate goal, is to get to that point where you feel weird if you don't eat enough and you don't move enough.
I wish I could feel weird if I didn't food prep enough.
I still eat enough most days. If I don't prep though, I'm more likely to undereat.
Me too. I just wish I really liked it and it came naturally. Like on Sunday, that's just what I did, and I had all this stuff laid out for the week.
I don't meal prep on Sunday. Like, I hate it.
I'm more of a Monday person.
Sunday is the day of rest for me, and I don't want to use my brain. But I get it. Like, if I had to, absolutely, and I couldn't cook on Monday, then yes, I would. You make the time. You don't just poof magically have the time. You have to make it to do those things. But yeah, I'm not a Sunday person. Anyway, but okay, well, I guess we could wrap it up here. We
could keep going on.
We could really go on and on. But the main point here is that, you know, when you yo-yo back and forth, and if you're like women our age, you know, I'm about to be 40 and you're in your 40s.
Join the 40 club. I'm 42.
If you've done that for a lifetime, you know, and didn't learn any better, now is the time you can correct it. You know, you may have some rebound weight, you know, if you've constantly gone back and forth. And when you decide that, okay, I'm going to try to get at this maintenance level of calories in and what I need, there may be a period of time that you have that weight gain, but just understand it's not forever. You have to help your body heal before you can stress it out. Because
And it all starts with the food.
Every single time. It's our fuel. Simple as that. Like
Yeah, we don't have a I don't know, a creatine deficit or a supplement deficit. Like you're lacking the food and the minerals and the nutrients to live
and help your metabolism's processes, all of them, the hundreds of things that go on inside your body is controlled by the all metabolism bubble. It's not a singular thing that is on its sole purpose is not to help you lose weight. Like that is not its job. It's actually just to help keep you alive and monitor all the things. So heal it. It's not broken. You just have to heal your mind and your body. And it's going to take a little bit of time. But like Meredith said, you have to give yourself some grace to do that. You can't be a psycho. You can be psycho to your friends, vent it on the page, or if you have a coach or something. I mean, I know we vent to each other all the time. It's really important to have that tribe to, vent your crazy girl to, but then also bring you back to, reality. So, I know it's a process. So we'll end it there. That was a good little episode.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
If y'all have any questions, just drop them in the comments underneath the video, and we will answer them the best we can. All right, we will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.